Hi, my name is Jackie Lee Price and welcome to Shadowboxruk. So hi and welcome to Hamzah Sheeraz. How are you doing?
I'm all good. I'm all good. Yourself?
I can't complain, to be fair. You're looking well, looking nice and
Thank you very
healthy.
much.
So just chilling in the hotel room then?
Yeah. Just got into lockdown today. Was the first day. Got tested and everything. And once we was obviously got the all clear, went to our hotel rooms, and now just kicking back to relaxing. Obviously the last day tomorrow. Do my last workout as in gym session, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then weigh in Thursday and fight Friday.
So what happens with this, with the kind of, obviously you've all got to be tested. Are you kept in separate rooms? Just talk me through that.
Yeah, so after we all got tested, we all get allocated our own personal rooms. And we're allowed to obviously see each other and speak to each other, but we're not allowed to mingle with anyone who hasn't been tested or an external source from the hotel. So to be honest with you, but just to be extra safe, I've been chilling in my room, and so as my coach, the only time I'm going to see him is going to be tomorrow when I work out, and then Thursday when I weigh in, and then obviously Friday.
So does that mean then effectively none of you can leave? None of you can leave that hotel now?
Yeah, no, exactly. We just got to stay here now until the fight day, because the weigh-in's going to be at the hotel as well. So we'll stay here until the fight day, and we get allocated our own personal drivers to take us to the venue and back.
Okay. So how does that compare to obviously the last week, before fight normally, there's a little bit of buzz created, obviously. How is this differing? I mean, is it better in the sense that you're able to focus, keep your head on the game, or does it feel a little bit lonely?
I don't feel lonely, because obviously I'm mentally strong like that. I don't let nothing get to me, to be honest with you. But in terms of how it differentiates, everything's different about it. Obviously, like you said, normally fight week there'd be a buzz and everything, but there's no noise here. There's nothing like that. So I suppose in terms of that, it does give you enough time to gather your own thoughts and give some time for yourself. Some time that you wouldn't normally get on fight week.
I'm guessing normally there's not even a moment to sort of do your mental preparation when you're kind of in your last week, because everything is just going 100 miles an hour, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. There's no time to do that. But now I've got 4 days to do it, so there's no excuses in terms of mental preparation.
So talking of mental prep, I'm just thinking about how is that going to affect not just you, but just everybody. So normally with a mental prep, you might hear sound. Some people work with sound, don't they? So you hear the sounds of the event, etc., etc. Okay, well now you're going into a venue that effectively there's going to be no crowd. There's just going to be your opponent, and you're going to be able to hear the announcers. Have you figured that into your mental training?
Listen, at the end of the day, I think I just got to get on with it. I already know that there won't be many people there, and it's going to be totally different to how a normal fight night would be. So in terms of getting in the ring, I just got to get on with it, really. And as soon as the first bell goes, it'll be like I'm at home anyway, because that ring is literally my second home. And as soon as that bell goes, no thoughts on the outside the ring can get to me. And so, yeah, man, it's just all a matter of getting into that ring and letting it, really.
Yeah, nice. So current WBO European Super-Welterweight champion. I mean, I know you're 21 now, so congratulations, because it's not been that long, has it? Bless you.
Yeah.
So 20 when you got that. I mean, that's a fantastic thing, to be fair. But just this is going to be your first defense. So yeah, I looked at your fight against Ryan Kelly, and one of the things that I like about your work is there's a confidence, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but for somebody that hasn't been a pro very long and somebody that hasn't, is not very old, there's a maturity and a calmness about your work. Now I'll explain. So in terms of the way you navigate around, you're able to rest when you want to rest, cover up, and then put your foot on the gas when need be. Do you attribute that to your dad being a referee and judge?
Yeah, I'd say I attribute that to my coaches, to be honest with you, and
Right.
and the amateur days actually, because back in the amateur days, I had over like 100 fights, and I learned to, like you said, navigate my way around the ring. And yeah, turning pro, you got to kind of learn to take it with you, but learn to extend it, learn to know when to, exactly like you said, step on the gas, step off it, and be.
You were saying that you thought it was attributed to your coach rather than your father. Could you elaborate on that a little bit further?
Yeah, no, like I was saying, in terms of boxing, to be great, you got to learn on the job and adapt on the job as well. So even if a coach is saying not the wrong thing, but the thing that's not working, you've got to learn to adapt. And obviously, in the fight, during the fight, learn to just. It's almost you learn about yourself more than anything else. You learn about what you're actually capable of. So yeah, in terms of that, that's my outlook on it.
You say it though like it's something that everybody has, and actually, it's not. Being a coach myself, I know that, you know, as a coach, you might see something, you tell the person to go out and do whatever, but like you've just said, you've also got to have that extra ability as the athlete to see something else and adapt. That takes something very special.
No, of course. That's what like the top boxers say, don't they? That's what makes the good fighters that's what separates the good fighters from the great fighters. It's all up there, and it's all what you're capable of doing, like self-coaching. Do you know what I mean? Self-teaching.
Yeah. So, did you always know? I know you were supposed to have this fight back in April, was it not?
Yeah.
You have to have this defence back in April. So, did you know that you were definitely going to get that chance in this year?
Yeah, I did actually, because when the fight got cancelled, my manager Andy Ellen, he told me, listen, he goes, I don't have a specific date for you. He goes, but be ready around mid-July time, and that's exactly the date we got, mid-July. So I was gearing up towards then, and even though I didn't have a date in mind at the time, like I said, I was gearing up towards it, and I was just getting ready for it. And then once the date got announced, we put everything in play, got the sparring together, and everything really.
Yeah. I mean, firstly, I'd like to wish your family condolences, send my condolences to your family, because I understand that you lost your auntie due to COVID-19 during this period. Yeah. So how difficult is that, on top of trying to like stay mentally ready, mentally prepared with all this madness that's going on?
Yeah.
Your family are trying to grieve.
Yeah.
How do you put that in a box? I don't know.
You just got to learn to deal with it. Obviously, you got to look at it in terms of COVID coming. It affected loads of people. My family and us, we wasn't the only people affected by it. There was loads of people affected by it at the end of the day. But I think in terms of how I dealt with it was just through training. That training, if you know yourself, when you train, you have no stresses, no worries, nothing like that. And once you get in that ring, nothing outside the ring can actually affect you. So in terms of dealing with it, that's how I dealt with it, through the gym, through boxing, and yeah.
Do you think in some respects it's kind of helped you? I know it's not been very long, but do you think that that's kind of helped you to process that?
Yeah, 1,000,000% that has, because like I said, you learn to, obviously you grieve for a bit, but then you learn to get on with things. You learn to almost not accept it, but you learn to almost know that it's happened, and now you just have to literally move on. There's nothing you can do about it apart from make the people who have gone proud, really.
Nice. And so you were saying, obviously you were ticking away. When did you start to get that sparring in? That obviously, because we know there's a difference between training and then fight ready. When were you able to get that sparring in?
We got good sparring in. We got sparring in when the rules were lifted for professional athletes to use the gyms again. That's when we started getting the sparring in. So in terms of that, we got the sparring in, and there's no stone unturned, really. So going into this fight, you should see another version of Hamzah Sheeraz you ain't seen before.
Oh, nice. I like it. Because let's be honest, your last fight was a test. I mean, all professional fighters get to that stage, don't they, when they get that initiation into, okay, are they a prospect or are they a real prospect? And you really passed that test. I mean, when you talk about, what do we expect to see?
Listen, you expect to see something totally different because it's a totally different fighter. He's a southpaw as well. He's a boxer. If he comes to fight, it'll be even better. But if he comes to do what he normally does, he'll get beat either way. In any department, I'm ready for whatever he's going to bring. But listen, everyone's been bored in lockdown. So all I can say is I'll definitely get the win, 100%, inshallah. I'll get the win. And definitely put on a good fight and make it entertaining for everyone to tune in and watch, hopefully.
Yeah. To be fair, that's one thing that I can say, that knowing boxing, not only are you entertaining, you actually can box as well. And so you're kind of pleasing both sides of the coin. I don't like to call them casual fan, but I can't think of a better way of it, of describing them. But yeah, you most definitely can box. Fast hands, I mean, unusually tall for the weight. I was thinking, how do you make that? Because I'm 6'1", and I used to box. I boxed at 11 stone 4 before, and like nearly died.
Yeah.
How?
Just my nutritionist, Paul, Pro Nutrition Clinic. Listen, he gives me a 10 or 12 week plan it is, and I just stick to that. And the weight really falls off. Obviously, the last kilo is a pain to get off, but I managed to get it off, and I'm not too affected by it. So
not at all.
Like I said, it hasn't affected my performances or anything like that. So at the minute, I'm going to stay there and stay strong at it, hopefully.
I mean, this, to be honest, is why you're quite dangerous. Being that height, boxing at super welterweight, but you can not only can you make the weight, you can perform at that weight. That's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about performance at the end of the day. We're professional athletes, you know what I mean? So performance is key. Anything you do, gearing up for the performance is key. So yeah, that's what it all boils down to. Like if I wasn't to perform too well, then I'd obviously consider moving up or doing something different in camp. But yeah, as for now, I'm doing well and I'm doing all right, and I look forward to the future.
So I've heard you speak about the importance of having a good team around you. I've interviewed many pros, Skeet, Pogare. These are just people that come to mind, and they've all talked about having a really good, solid team around you. So was there a sort of plan of action when you were thinking, right, I'm going to have X, Y, and Z for a coach, this one for a strength and conditioning coach, this one for nutrition? Was there sort of a plan of action, or did you just test out many people and then settle on a team?
That was always the plan since day, but as you know, everything doesn't always go to plan. But as I've progressed in my career, I've adapted, I've made changes, and right now the team I've had for this fight is definitely the best one. Obviously, I've got Eddie Kelly who's my head coach. I've got my uncles and that have come on board. My nutritionist, like I said, Paul, my strength coach, Hanny, Josh, my conditioning coach, Hanny. The whole team there is there. It's been set in place. It's all good. There's no excuses. Like you said, but you learn new things about yourself. Do you know what I mean? When I turned pro, I was 18 years old. I'm 21 now, obviously. In that space, I've learned a few things about myself and what suits me best. So obviously the adaptations have been made, and they've been made for the better, hopefully.
Apart from the performance side, though, what would you say is the most important part of having that team around you? I suppose what I'm getting at is the difference between having a team that are going to be, let's say, honest with you versus a team that are going to just gas you up.
Exactly. You don't need that. You don't need people to massage your ego in this game, because that's when it all starts going wrong. You need people to keep it 100 with you and keep it real with you, because that's how you're going to progress, really.
So I've looked at you on social media. You seem to stick to, I mean, you're a different generation. You've come up on the side of, you've got boxes and then you've got social media boxes. But you do seem to stick to just the boxing on your social media, which I think is probably quite difficult at your age. However, what are your thoughts on, posting sparring? Now, you come from an amateur background.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was or is the norm. What are your thoughts on professionals posting sparring videos?
Yeah, I think if they post it to show a technique or something they've done in a defensive skill, I think it's fine. But if it's them knocking someone out or blasting someone out, sparring and fighting are two totally different things. So I think the only reason they really upload it is either they're doubting themselves or they're just literally just trying to, like I said, massage their own ego and and trying to fool the real boxing world. Because if you know about real boxing, you know sparring and fighting are two totally different things. So yeah, that's my view on it.
Yeah. I mean, I keep getting into, let's say, debates about this whole sparring versus boxing thing. Could you just explain to the viewers, from your point of view, what is the difference between, I know what it is, but just from your point of view, what's the difference between sparring and a boxing match?
So the key differences would be, obviously, fight night comes, you're on weight, you've made weight, you're under the bright lights, you're under the pressure, you're in front of TV, you're in front of the crowd. So it's a whole new version of you. It's fight or flight. Some people do it, some people don't. Whereas in sparring, you've only got you and your coaches, and you're comfortable. Do you know what I mean? You've been in the ring, that same ring 100 times. You've moved around. You know exactly what the gym is, everything. But when you go to an arena and you've never been in that ring before, and you feel how spongy the canvas is, you feel how different it is. It's two totally different things. That's my outlook on it, to be honest with you.
Would you call it sparring the rehearsal?
You could say it's rehearsal. You could say it's just practice. Yeah, exactly. It's like you said, it is rehearsal. It is rehearsal. But at the end of the day, it's not a play and it's not a game. It's a serious sport, and you're in there to obviously hurt your opponent and knock them out. Hopefully, or get knocked out. That's not the aim. But the aim is obviously knocking your opponent out at the end of the day.
Yeah. So talking about, well, I hear a lot that you are, and I'm getting that from you now, that you're a very humble guy. You're keeping your feet grounded. I'm just interested in your view of, do you think, this is just out of interest, do you think, though, does humility sell fights? Because you see all these different personas, and some people put on a persona, and you seem to me like somebody that is just yourself, and you're letting yourself do your boxing do the talking. Yeah. But do you think humility sells?
I think at a more domestic stage, I think the only reason people do it is either they want the big money fights, meaning domestic level big money fights, or they're not confident in their ability to actually entertain, so they have to do it outside the ring rather than inside the ring. That's why I don't really talk much rubbish, because I know come fight night, I'm always guaranteed to put on a good performance for the crowd. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of that, I think people who do it on a world level, I think it's different, because you have to sell fights and there's a lot more money involved. It's more of a business. So I think it's excused at the top. But domestically, when people are just trying to act like they're at the top already, I think it's only because they know they can't entertain or they want the money. It's either or, really.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a direct correlation between religion and humility? So I see a lot of sports people. I'll use one as an example. Joshua Buatsi seems an incredibly humble guy, Christian. You're a religious guy. Do you think that there is a correlation between religion and humility?
Yeah, of course, because listen, if you keep religion as your base, like most religions are similar, to be honest. No religion tells you to go out there and be boasting. Most religions tell you to keep humble and keep on the straight path, really. So there definitely is a correlation there.
Yeah, nice. You seem to be really just, soaking up every experience, and you're not daunted by it at all, are you?
No, not at all, really. Not at all. Like I said, you got to look at the positive and negative situations and just get on with it, really. Like I said, I'm just looking forward to fight night. That's my main priority, main focus. And as for now, just chilling in the hotel room. There's nothing much you can do, but at the same time, like you said, you can use it to mentally prepare and just get on with things and just not be fazed by it.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for giving us your time. Really nice to speak to you, and it's really nice to see such a young man, really well grounded, and you're a good positive role model.
Cheers, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And listen, good luck on Friday. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxruk UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.